Well, howdy there, everybody. Welcome on in. So tonight we're gonna be doing that spread building thing that I do sometimes, or at least that's the plan. That's the goal. And right before I came live, there's a song that popped into my mind on one of these at some point. I don't remember which one, but it's a different part of the song, and it's that the part is like any moment skies may fall. What is it? It's from Into the Woods. And he's like, this has been a moment in the woods. Seize the moment, because any moment skies may fall. And then she was like, are we going to do this again? And he's like, no, we're not going to do this again. Hello? It's a moment, right? That's by definition, it's ephemeral. It's not going to last. It's impermanent. There's a word. So anyway, today I'm going to be using the Wild Unknown Tarot instead of the what's it called? The Spirit Keeper's Tarot to define these. And so one moment. Things are so, I feel like symbolic, I guess, oh gosh, in one way and interesting in another. So because I can see now, I don't have to use, oh, I am not liking my handwriting today. Because I can see now, I don't have to use not low power mode, high contrast mode. So that means I get backgrounds on my computers, on my technology again. Everything isn't like black background. It's like the light has come back. And I guess in some way it was like for a time I needed to have that perspective, that darker perspective, to enhance the contrast, to be able to see or to read or to be able to differentiate one thing from the other. But now that moment is over, it's like I get to go back to how it usually is, where it's technically the same amount of contrast, but I guess with the flip of the polarity, it emphasizes different things. And depending on it's like a bias for a certain perspective, I guess, or it's like a tendency to focus on one thing over the other. It's about shifting things to, I guess, accommodate the focus so that what we're able to see is what we need to see. But now I can see it all. Oh, Ace of Cups is up there. I forgot about that. Oh, Devil at the bottom of the deck, though. I forgot about that, too. I'll use this deck in a minute. So let's go. I'm going to be using these, so it isn't necessarily going to be any clearer, but it won't. Oh, the Ten of Pentacles out the cut. Okay. I'm loving that energy. It's been such an interesting year. I've been so fortunate and so blessed this year with the High Priestess. Okay. Oh, we talked about that. The High Priestess and the Queen of Cups. 10 of Wands with the High Priestess. I feel like the 10 of Wands with the High Priestess, this is an energy of, it's kind of like what I was talking about last time with the High Sage and that 5 of Swords. It's about knowing what lies beyond the end of all endings. Right? Or not necessarily knowing. I guess it's about trusting that there's a beginning on the other side of the ending. And so it gets us to move in a way that may be deemed sort of like futile, wasted effort, because from the outside it looks like a dead end. But when you know that you're like 3 strikes from hitting gold, why would you give up? Anyway, I've proceeded into the next phase of my life, which is getting a job. And it's so weird because I've been watching lately, yesterday and today, I guess, The Lovers and the 6 of Swords. Interesting. Even all of my cards are just like everything is different. It's all the same, but it looks different because I can see more clearly now. What was I saying? Next phase. Oh yeah. Like now that I've graduated, it's like I'm watching these videos on YouTube of like this person, like this is my day in the life at Purdue University, or like tips for freshmen, things that I like about Purdue and things that I don't like about Purdue. King of Wands. Interesting. Father of Wands at the bottom of the deck. What's here? The Ace of Wands. I don't love that energy. Are they both dark? No, one is light and one is dark. And one's got stuff growing on it. The other one doesn't. And it's like, I'm not even here anymore. But I guess, and turns out people were waking up at 6 a.m. Maybe that's what I was doing wrong. And as I said that, it was like 6 minutes on the time. Okay. So how I do this is timestamp is going to be in the description box of when I actually get into the cards. First card is going to be the name of the spread. Second card is going to be the number of cards. Third card is going to be the theme. And then that's how we do this. And then sometimes I use these, but I guess I'll be using these today to see what each position is. Oh, okay. This is how we're doing this. So we're going to cut this in thirds, roughly. And we're just going to go for it. It's really interesting. Something that I've noticed that's really interesting in my personal life, I guess, is that there is one individual in my life who I seem to be connecting to in a pathwise sense. And I guess in some ways, something within me knows where they are on their journey. And so this has been the second time, I guess, with that person on their journey. And it's like, I don't know, it's like I'll have a feeling that that person should do something or get into something, knowing, or with my most previous understanding, being that they don't have the means to do it. But when I reach out to them, they're like, oh my gosh, look what I literally just got. And I'm like, oh, see, this is why something within me told me to come to you. Oh gosh, okay. I'll do it. It's gonna be another one of those. That's fine. And I remember last time, I think I was like, what did I say? I was like, something in the Force told me that a new Jedi was born or something like that. And I don't even watch Star Wars. So the most I've seen is the first movie, which is episode 4, I believe, because one of my friends was like, oh my gosh, you haven't seen Star Wars? Like, we have to watch it. And it was spring break. And we watched that one and we started the next one. And I did not finish it. Oh, wait, I need another one. Okay. Oh, all right. I'm going to give this 3 shuffles because I know how to do this. So this is actually going to be a layered spread. And I have one of these. I've done it on this channel, I believe, but I didn't actually code it for anything. So it was just the layout with the title and the theme, but I didn't actually write out the positions. So this will be the top layer, and this will be the bottom layer. And then this is the overall thing. So the title of the spread. What? It's Barren Samadhi. Barren Samdi. The Page of Pentacles, who was literally the theme for the last spread that I did. And I was like, that one was a little deep. So I'm going to avoid the SKT And I'm gonna go for something as equally ambiguous or potentially ambiguous, but not like that deep. And so I went for the wild unknown. And here is Barren Sandy coming out. Oh gosh. So he's been featured on the last two. And the last one was very much so, oh, this is gorgeous. See, I get to see stuff like this now when I open my laptop. Or this is my Surface Book. Instead of just a black screen. Despite its rather spooky name, this bridge was conceived by its designers to convey a beautiful symmetry. Well, what's the name of the bridge, girl? Barren Samdi. We have this winter scene or this black and white scene and a bridge, a spooky bridge. Barren Samdi, from what I remember, has some sway over life and death and kind of sort of that space in between. And that's why the last one ended up as some like whatever that was. So I guess this, I don't know if this will be the Barren spread or the Barren Samdi spread. I am not liking my handwriting today. That's fine. Oh goodness. Maybe I'll just call it the Barren spread. There was this one girl I knew. Her last name was Barren. I haven't seen her in a while. She was cool. Okay, so the number of cards in the top layer. Oh goodness, it would be a knight. I don't know what that means. So there's 6 in the bottom. Knight of Cups. 1, because the Knight of Cups only holds 1 cup. So this will be 1 card on top of 6. This will be interesting. IVI. There's 1 and 6. So top theme is the Hanged Man. The Hanged Man with the Knight of Cups, both Piscean energies. That's interesting. Bottom is the Ten of Cups, Leviathan. This is a lot of water. And then the Six of Swords. And the Six of Swords came out recently. And then for the overall, it's the Two of Pentacles, which is the elf. Okay. So how am I going to do this? I'll do Hanged Man. I guess it's interesting that it's a Piscean energy because Pisces is, I guess, the zodiac sign most connected to that space of rebirth or the in-between of life and death, with this being the Barren spread. Oh gosh, this is not. See, I bought these. This is a novelty deck from Spencer's. And it's like they're not for serious purposes or whatever. They're like costume-y. So like if you're going as a card reader for Halloween and you need a deck of cards, then like this is your deck. But they called to me, so I got them. And it's always always deeper than I would necessarily think. But I was drawn to them for a reason, so I'm not surprised at the same time. And then overall is the Two of Pentacles. This is interesting because with these cards in general, the Two of Pentacles is the balance, right? Or the Two of Pentacles speaks of balance or choices. And typically they're mutually exclusive, or we sort of view them as mutually exclusive. And then we have the Knight of Cups against the Six of Swords. The Hanged Man against the Ten of Cups. It feels like this is going to be a spread where the solution is a healthy dose of Leo energy. Speaking of Leo energy, I was just thinking that in my personal life, quite a few Sagittariuses are like upping their commitments. Like one of my friends got engaged and married, another one got engaged, and someone else connected to somebody that I know just kind of elevated their relationship. And I just recently reconnected to one of my Sagittarian buddies. I've talked about him before. Um, and now I want to ask him if he's like following suit. I guess we're in like Capricorn season now, so I don't know if it was a Sagittarius season thing. But he's like a double Sag. When I found out he was a Sag Sun and Moon, I was like, oof. And he's a Leo rising. I'm like, that's so much fire. But I think the Leo rising for him, I feel like what it does is it like it puts him at the center of Sagittarian energy and puts him in a position to be that. And so what it seems is that it's like, Sagittarian energy is global. It's expanded beyond sort of like local thought. And so with that Leo energy, and like since I know him, or since I kind of know him, I ain't gonna say I know that man, but it's like it seems that like he's had to be sort of that like foreigner in his own life. Excuse me, which just kind of sort of put him at odds, I guess, with a lot of his immediate surroundings or like where he grew up. But because of that Leo rising, it's almost like it gave him the courage or the task to be his authentic self regardless. And I don't know why I'm talking about this, but maybe it'll come up. Maybe it'll come up. So I got one card and six cards. I'll pull this card right here. The Two of Cups, Unicorn. Oh, okay, nice. Why is it so cups heavy? It's so water heavy. Pentacles, pentacles, cups, cups, cups. Well, water, cups, swords. But it's the swords card associated with water. Okay. So, Two of Cups, Unicorn. Is that my best friend? Hey, it is. All right. So now I'm gonna lay these out. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune. It's a changing. And that Six of Swords again with that Wheel of Fortune. I'm mad at it. With the star in that Six of Swords. Okay, so this is gorgeous. But it kind of feels like somebody just needs a healthy dose of Leo energy to like take that leap, to shine a little brighter, to do the thing instead of just thinking about it, dreaming about it, fantasizing about it, having it literally on a platter in front of you, but not taking it. So obviously this card goes here, right? And then let's do one of these. So I need two more cards. Sure, we'll do it this way. This is how I want to do this. I'm feeling it this way. Kinda. Not necessarily. Yeah, I'm feeling it this way. Okay. I mean, with only one card, it's not like I can like layer these. I'm curious what's on the bottom of this deck. Bottom of the deck is the Queen of Cups. Of course, it's the Queen of Cups. Why wouldn't it be more cups? The Gorgon. The Queen of Cups came out yesterday when I clarified all this over here. All right. Apparently, the Barren is drinking heavy. All this cup energy. Cup. All right. So let's do this here. First, I got to get that down here. I don't know why the price is right music just popped into my brain. Please spay and neuter your pets. Oh gosh. So how did I lay these out? I'll say 1 and 2, 3. Sure, let's just do it like this. Keep it fairly simple. Until here for 5 and 6, and then this is 7. So 1, 2, 3. Oops, gotta move them over. I'm really not liking my handwriting today. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, let's figure this out. Oh, so card number 1 is the 6 of Wands. So I needed to look at the things. It was the imp, the Leviathan. That's so interesting because the imp is something that is small and that at the most is an inconvenience unless it's great in number. And the Leviathan is huge. And then we have the 2 of Pentacles that was like that overall. And so this is in the space of the Leviathan. So it's feeling like a previous victory or an area of, what is this, transformation? I want to say transfiguration, but I don't. Transformation through previous challenges. Oh, CHALLENGE. Through previous challenge. This is the Mother of Wands. So this is, it's like a challenge that still lies beyond. Something left in store, something to grow, someone more. So it's a growth opportunity. Seems kind of painful though. / humbling experience. That's what that is. Yeah. Mother of Wands is going to show you that you're still a baby, even though you feel grown. And then the Eight of Cups. This is the bigger pond. The expanded pond. Bigger ponds are also deeper. This, oh, the Ace of Wands again. This feels like inspiration, insight. This is a gift of passion. This Six of Swords, interesting, is it feels like a wind. Um, a boon. A boon. A boon, a favorable wind. Next is the Father of Cups. Oh. Mother of Wands, Father of Cups. Oh, what is this? It feels like it's hard to describe, but it's I guess the point of maturity, point of maturation. Mother. By the way. What? Ah, I'm upset. Oh, what? Oh, what? I'm upset. Hold up, wait. What time? I need details. I need details. I'm sorry, y'all. I've been looking for this thing and I have not been able to see it. What? Okay, now this picture I've seen on the internet. So, what's the truth? Anyway, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm back. A moment of temporary distraction. It happens, girls and guys, and those who conform to both and neither. And so, number 7. Oh, the wilted flower. This is the hangman. This is the imp. This is the Leviathan. This is the hangman. See, this is what I was talking about. It's like somebody needs a healthy dose of Leo energy to just like push through. Look at all these sixes: Six of Wands, Six of Swords, major court cards. Some of this walking away, coming upon something brighter, and then this Five of Pentacles. So, what is this? I feel like this is a perceived lack or deficit. or where we need a change in perspective. Ooh, multi-line. The Barren spread. I actually like the Barren spread for this because it could be Barren as in, girl, I don't know how to spell, Baron, or it could be Barren as in Barren. And that's that like Ten of Cups, Leviathan versus the Hangman type of energy, right? It could be this affluence and wealth, or it could be this desolation and aridness. It's either the desert or the oasis, but it's all like the same space and in the same place. Mm, perspective. Okay. Yeah, I saw this. I was like, oh my gosh, this is gorgeous, but somebody is not going to see it. It's fine. Excuse me, what deck do I want to use for this? The Archangel Power cards, why not? What was I about to ask Siri to do? I don't know. I don't remember. Why did I put my phone back on? Oh, because I was going to look up Barren. Hey Siri, define Baron.
On it. Which word? B-A.
Girl, I spelled it. I even spelled it.
A-R-R-E-N. A member of the lowest order of the British nobility. The term baron is not used as a form of address in Britain. Barons usually being referred to as lord. Do you want to hear the remaining one?
Yes, please. Yes. It says an important or powerful person in a specific business or industry. And then the other one, define Barren.
As an adjective, it means of land, too poor to produce much or any vegetation.
There you go. Tumbleweed. That's interesting because one of these backgrounds one day was like, this plant anywhere else would be called a tumbleweed. But I mean, here she grows, girl. So maybe that's another thing. And maybe that's why I was talking about my little Sag Leo friend, because it's all about creating or finding those places where you can shine authentically. Okay, so let's get into this. The Barren spread. We'll see if this is an RN. They both have R's. Is this a 1R Barren or a 2R Barren? Because that R Barren is a thief. And that's no way to build wealth. That's like stealing a fish instead of learning how to fish. Okay, that did not shuffle at all. That happens sometimes. Let's do it this way. Okay, that still barely happened. I just saw the Ace of Gabriel. So let's get into this. Ooh, that's a whole bunch. Work. They even came out on top of each other. The 10 of Ariel, what? Oh, that's all three of them. That was the 8 of Cups, though. That feels very, like, familial. Feels like kind of like peer pressure, but like familiar pressure. Carrying on someone else's legacy, maybe the weight of genetics and ties. Meaning it's like that could be, let's say there's a family business, or let's say that there's a family, like a generational curse, right? Let's say that everyone kind of sort of falls prey to alcoholism, not great relationships, not pursuing what it is that they want, being too self-sacrificing, anything. And it's like a rise or a challenge, a call to break that. But it's like well established, and that's why I think it's still coming through as like 10 of Pentacles energy. It's not necessarily great, it's just established. Okay, so last card. These are actually like talking. What? Y'all actually want to come out? This deck is like, you never use me. What's up with that? And then we'll put that one there. Bottom of the deck is... this is so interesting. Bottom of the deck literally says, change your life. Well, for you, it's backwards. Change your life. This is the Tower. Number 16. Before the start, change your life. I'm like, somebody needs that dose of just like do it. Somebody needs Nike. If y'all into goddess worship or whatever, pray to Nike. Or don't. I don't know. She's the goddess of victory. Nike kind of gives me like Paul Revere type of energy. I guess also kind of mercurial at the same time. Mercury is a magician. And so this is Archangel Camuel, which is the solar plexus in the energy oracle card. Solar plexus probably meaning that you change your life. It says a sudden revelation that offers freedom. Break free of procrastination. Embrace the opportunities that change brings. It's like there's a whole 10 of cups once we can break through that hangman energy. Decision. I don't know if y'all saw that. Oh, y'all didn't. This card just kind of slid down a little when I set them down. And there's the Ace of Gabriel, Ace of Wands again. I mentioned it when I saw it at the cut. The Ace of Wands was like right here. Oops. Decision, Archangel Jophiel. Release yourself from that which holds you back. A need to detox. Unnecessary worry based on a lack of self-confidence. Unnecessary worry based on a lack of self-confidence. Here's the Ace of Wands with me saying somebody needs a healthy boost or a healthy dose of Leo energy. 15 plus 1 is 16. A gift of passion. I literally did it. Is that not like what I literally wrote on that one? Hold up. I want to read it. It says a gift of passion. I literally wrote a gift of passion. A gift of passion, opportunity, and inspiration. The chance to do something amazing. A sense of wonder. Oh my gosh. I'm amazing. I'm just kidding. Let's do this. So we're actually not going to start with that card, even though that flipped over first. So this is the, oh wait, let me timestamp. I forgot. I'll do that like now. I'll say 38:45. Excuse me, 38. We'll just say 39 minutes because by the time I finish this, it's going to be about there. Into the cards about 39 minutes. Gonna call this Barren of the Barren. They're both incorrect. I'm just playing. Okay. No, there are no wrong answers in there. Only teachable moments. All right. So this is the moment of perceived victory. The moment of perceived victory is when we're coming off of that high of just having accomplished one thing, feeling, dare I say, invincible or grander than we may actually be. Because it's like it puts us in a space where maybe we think that, not necessarily that we're ineffable, but we may need a reality check. And this is the card of the reality check under it. Like we may need to be humbled in some way. But I feel like we only need to be humbled if it's taken to a point of excess, right? And so it's like we have the Seven of Wands energy because we were victorious and it gets us feeling like we have the upper hand, but in reality, it might turn into an Eight of Swords situation. And then that's when we get into that Hanged Man, Piscean, um, sort of like mental, it's like a diluted energy, basically. And we have Perspective, the Hangman, number 12. So this is the transformation through previous challenge. I should have left my reading glasses on. There's a better way. Yep, I'm going to put these things back on. I don't know why I just took them off. If I hold it further, there's a better way. Pause for reflection and insight and do something different. What? Let me put these back on. There's a better way. Pause for reflection and insight. Dare to be different. Dare to be different. Oh my gosh, that's what I was talking about with that Leo rising energy, or like Leo energy, where it sort of like puts that energy, it puts you in the center of that energy, right? So a Sagittarian is like different cultures. Then you are the one who holds a different culture to everyone else, potentially, or at least at some point in your life. Let's go with Virgo energy, where it's order, right? And so it may put you in a position where there's a lot of sort of like chaos, or there's a lot of things that aren't necessarily in line in whatever way that is. But if you have a Leo energy coming in with that Virgo energy, then it could put you in a position to be the person who puts all of that in order, the purifier, the aligner, in that situation, or it may put you in a person to be the example and to set the standard to do that. I keep wanting to do Pisces and Leo, but I don't know what that would be. Well, I guess Pisces and Leo energy, it could put you in a position where maybe it's like the perspective of, it's like the impression that you give off or the perspective that you give off isn't necessarily true to life. And so it puts you in a position to almost like demystify yourself to the world around you. Or vice versa, it gives you the ability to overcome that sometimes Piscean challenge of actualizing a dream or an idea or a concept. Anyway, Perspective, Archangel Camuel. And this is upside down, right? Well, the Hangman is always upside down. But with Camuel, it puts you on the descent. And this is why we get the reality check. Because this to me is a very it kind of looks like a circus, honestly. I'm like the ringleader. uh it feels like a deep dive. It feels like whatever happened in the, like whatever victory we claimed in the past has put us in a position to claim more, to do more. It's almost like we've proven that we're capable and ready, and we're kind of sort of thrown into the other thing, maybe without even necessarily realizing it. It's almost like it reminds me of, I don't know if it's F-Zero, I think it's F-Zero, or some game. It was Pole Position. Throwing it all the way back to pole position. It's like if you don't clear the checkpoint, then the race is over. But if you clear the checkpoint, it adds time to your stopwatch, and you have to get to the next checkpoint. It's like it's only over when you stop clearing these checkpoints. Well, there is an end. Obviously, the game doesn't go on ad infinitum like Tetris. I think Tetris just goes and goes and goes until you lose. But clearing a checkpoint gives you more time to get to the next. Clearing the checkpoint continues it, it progresses it instead of ending it. And with this perspective and with that sort of like perceived victory energy, when until this card comes in, that's why it's a little bit like, oh, I'm good, I got it all figured out, like blah blah blah, I am victorious, I am the champion. And it's like, okay, you cleared that checkpoint, well, here's the next, here's the next, because there's always another goal. But beyond there always being another goal, it feels like we're getting closer and closer to claiming in the bottom, like the Leviathan 10 of Cups part. It's like we're getting closer and closer and closer to claiming that fulfillment of whatever it is that we really truly desire. Like that happily ever after type of energy. And speaking of moments in the woods, and I guess going back to that song, there can be. And what was card number 3? Let me look at it before I just continue on that. I don't know if y'all hear all the sirens and stuff, but you hear them now? The expanded pond is the 10 of Pentacles. Okay. That it's probably a little bit more like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is actually happening. It may trigger like insecurities and like is this like is it too good to be true? Like am I worth this? Is this too much for me? Do I deserve this? And then going back to that original 10 of Pentacles energy, where it's like we're falling in line, there could be this opportunity with perspective for elevation to happen. But when elevation happens, it pulls at, stretches those. What's a brain cell? Not a neuron, but it's like these membranes, not membranes, like these. It stretches us. Okay, it stretches us, and we have to, with that healthy dose of, oh, that says LED, but it's a stylized D, so it looks like Leo. LOL. It's that healthy dose of Leo energy. And if you're curious, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Oh, ooh. Uh-oh. This is what I'm talking about. From a distance, because the D is stylized like that, it almost looked like Leo. Leo. I was like, oh, and they're light bulbs. Hello. And I talked about the lighthouse last time. Who was that for? I don't remember. It was one of the zodiac energies, and then somebody else got a similar energy. It might have been Aquarius, the opposite of Leo. um, what was I talking about? It's like it stretches you, and it's actually an opportunity to detach from things that no longer serve. Those things mostly being limited mindsets, limited ways of thinking, and maybe energies, people, locations, jobs that would keep you attached to that like limitation and anchored in that, right? And it's like with this perspective, it really feels like we think we've like done it, and so it's like, well, like what more could there be until we hit this energy? And it's the Empress. Look at the majors of what? The Empress, Archangel Gabriel, with the ace of Gabriel, the Archangel herself, right there under Change Your Life. Oof, okay, Gabriel. I remember mentioning when I pulled out the Archangel, the Angular and Oracle of Emanations last time I was live. I was like, I'm feeling either Sandalphon, Angel of New Life, or like Gabriel. Here's Gabriel. We got Sandalphon that day. Um, Time to act upon your plans. Creativity is rewarded. Luxurious or abundant resources. Luxurious or abundant resources going into that 10 of Pentacles. Now, what's interesting is these are both 3 energies. And Gabriel is where is Gabriel in the energy oracle cards? The 4th chakra is Raphael. It's Michael, Ariel, Camuel, Raphael. Metatron is 6. Uriel is 7. And 5 is 5 Gabriel? Let me see. I'm actually gonna look it up real quick because I'm interested. 5 might be Gabriel. 5 is, yeah, 5 is Gabriel. It's the throat. Gabriel with the trumpet, I'm pretty sure. So we have the throat chakra and the solar plexus chakra. The throat chakra is actually blocking the solar plexus, which is interesting because both of those are sort of like expressive, I guess, chakras. One we put out through the space of action, the other we put out through the space of breath. And when they're aligned, they can do wonderful things. When they're not, they are impaired and don't operate at their fullest of capacities. Yeah, fifth chakra, Archangel Gabriel. Got it. And it's like right now we're being called to create. Which I get that. So what was this? This was the growth opportunity or the humbling experience. Here's this Empress. I feel like what this means is we're sort of nearing the end of what we can do in non-active ways. And it's also interesting that both of these are 3 energies, right? Perspective is a 12, which reduces to a 3. The Empress is a 3. And then there's 10 of Pentacles. 3 times 3 is 9. Or if you add 3 upon itself 3 times, you get 9. And the 10 is one step beyond even that. And so I feel like there's also this element of needing to understand cooperation and synergy. Because at the 10, like 10s involve elements outside of ourselves. Like 9 is as high as we can go within self. When it comes to the 10, there's some influence in some way on the outside. With the 10 of Cups, it's like, you know, that happy family. With the 10 of Pentacles, it's that abundant family. With the 10 of Swords, that one's interesting. The 10 of Wands typically is us being overburdened by what it is that we want to do and what other people want us to do, or society. It's that moment of contention. And the 10 of Swords is when we kind of sort of take on the weight of how the world around us has separated us from ourselves in some way. And so this 10 of Pentacles, the expanded pond, 10 of Ariel, is there is so very much to be grateful for. Financial success and the girl, white on pink is, oh, there we go. I was just a little too close. Financial success and the promise of retirement, a rich and rewarding family life. I love that promise of retirement because I feel like it means that you're nearing the end of the race. So this leg is about nearing the end of the race. But it's like you thought it was already over, but it's that checkpoint energy. It's like what was a checkpoint, or like what we thought was a finish line was actually the checkpoint. But it's putting us in this, it's introducing us, initiating us into creator modality. And it's like, you know, once you get more fully into creator modality, girl, it's all 10 everything at that point. Like if you literally create for yourself, then it's like, you know, 10 of Pentacles you can have. Anything earthly is yours. Now the 10 of Cups, maybe not necessarily, because cups is a fluid element. It's shared. Cups are shared. Pentacles, I mean, they're also shared, but with it being an earthen element, it's like we have the capability to influence that. And the Empress is that Venusian energy, which, through the Taurian part is that like let it grow type of energy. So this is gorgeous, which is again, it's like it's not that I don't understand this spread. It's just that like it seems like the bottom layer is amazing with that Ten of Cups Leviathan energy. And also um what was it? It was something else. The Six of Swords, maybe. I think it was the Six of Swords and the Leviathan, Ten of Cups. Like gorgeous. Now let's move into the other leg. So this is a gift of passion. This is that Ace of Wands energy, and it's the King of Michael. Michael is the root chakra. This is principled, rational, ambitious, and respected. Wisdom and objectivity are important now. Stay in your integrity. A situation that calls for honest and open communication. This is interesting because this is a very, very, very green King of Swords energy. Usually, King of Swords is like cold and icy. Now, we do see there's like the rook. If you play chess, I don't know anything about rooks. Uh, I feel like it may surprise people that I don't know how to play chess because I'm kind of geeky, I guess, or nerdy, whichever one applies. But look how green this King of Swords is. We end up with Empress energy here into this Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Ariel, to all of that green. And the path is laid out in these flowers. Now you can see that some of those bushes have sprouted flowers, some of them have not. And there's the path. He's on the path, he stands there before. So I feel like with this card, there is this element of really taking ourselves from behind the walls, right? Michael is one of the archangels that a lot of people call him for protection. And on this channel lately, Michael has been like, you don't need that anymore, like protect yourself type of energy. But also it's to not be so isolated and guarded from the world around you. Because again, it's like you can't really come fully into a creator. You can't be in a cooperative space, come into creator functionality and not interact with the world around you or not be vulnerable to the world around you or not see the world around you like that. It doesn't work like that. Like maybe it does. Oh my God, I don't know everything or even anything. I feel like I know some things. I feel comfortable saying I know some things. And I also feel comfortable saying that my understanding and knowing of those things can still change. But it's like it violates that space to try to do it that way, right? It's like no person has ownership of that space. No person has ownership of collective space. So how can you come into collective space and demand these singularly serving things with no regard for anything around you, right? When we reach the end of the major arcana, when we reach the world card, we're supposed to have incorporated everything up until that point, which includes justice and temperance, to really act in that like magician type of functionality. What was for again? Girl, I already forgot. I use girl as a gender neutral pronoun. If you haven't picked that up, or a gender neutral, wait, that's a pronoun, right? It's a noun of address. Yeah, I use it. Girl is gender neutral for me. Sorry. This is a gift of passion. So this gift of passion, this is that coming spring. This is the thawing of the winter. But we're not losing. It's like our minds aren't getting any duller. We're not getting any less sharp because we're coming into this more vulnerable energy. Big things here are principle and integrity. And I feel like this respected, it's like being respected by the world around you type of energy, to the point where the world itself, energy itself, is delighted to work with you, to create what it is that you wish to create, to go where it is that you wish to go, and to be who it is that you wish to be. Because in you being all of that, like what you return is far more than what you take. And so there's also this energy of amplifying. Again, it's the 10 that lies beyond the 9 here. So next is the point. No. Next is the boon, or the favorable wind. And it's the 2 of Michael. And we see 2 unicorns on the sunset. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Okay. It will all be better if you just make a decision. And what was under Change Your Life and the Ace of Gabriel? Decision. Hello? Here's the Hangman. Here's the Empress. We gotta decide. King of Michael, decisive. Wisdom and objectivity are important. Stay in your integrity, and the situation calls for open and honest communication. It will all be better if you just make a decision, over analyzing a problem and finding a compromise. This is interesting because one of these unicorns is moving more than the other. Oh, okay. So the horn of the unicorn, unicorns are third eye energies. Third eye was Metatron, right? But the horns are crossing. And when where the horns cross, we see like that setting sun, the rising sun, we see that golden egg dropping out of the sky. That pony, you see all that stuff around his feet. That's why I'm like, oh, that one's moving, or that one's descending from the clouds. This is the one that's here. Now, this could be a higher self integration point. And I guess I would say that because, well, here's the 2 of Swords again. This energy has been coming up a lot lately, which was learning to trust the divine sight over the 3D, because everything 3D is like subjected to random, I want to say random mutation, and random mutation being like things can just completely drastically change with seemingly no input, no stimulus, and for seemingly no reason at a moment's notice. And our entire understanding of everything can be uprooted in a second. But beyond that, it's like there are things that cause other things to transpire, and there are things that precipitate other things. And it's like once the clouds get heavy enough, then it rains, right? So rain doesn't just come out of nowhere. It doesn't just rain. There's a cloud somewhere that's been accumulating. But anyway, it's like where these third eye projections meet is that space of creation, the place of birth. This is the boom, this is the blessing, this is the favorable wind, this is being met in that space. Which again ties to this, and that like openness and that willingness to really co-create. So what is this? What am I going to title this? I don't know. I'll leave it titled what it is. So the point of maturation here is not more Michael. It is another 2. The number of today is 2, apparently. It's the 2 of Gabriel, 2 of Wands. And there's a little rainbow bubble here. We see 2 people going on a journey. They each of them has their own wand. There's a rainbow here, which harkens back to that 6 of Swords. Make bold and ambitious choices. Make bold and ambitious choices here. Make a decision here. See, that's why that hangman energy is just like there. I'm like, oh my gosh. And an imp by itself does like next to nothing. Like we had this Leviathan energy compared to an imp. And unless that imp got an oxygen tank, it probably ain't gonna bother you under the water anyway. Like, I don't know. Anyway, back to this. Make bold and ambitious choices. Great progress is possible. Possible. Important relationships with people who share your vision. And that's, I guess, why we have two different people going. This path is, oh, maybe it's not that narrow. Two different people with their own wands, both headed in the same direction. Now, this is interesting because, at least in the vice versa deck, when it comes to the Two of Wands, it's like it's two people who share the same vision, but they go about it in different directions. Or it's like they share the same end goal, but the path to get there is different. Here, though, the path is the same. And you can see the two figures there, each with their own staff, both barefoot, some kind of vulnerability. There's that rainbow bubble. I'm sorry. Okay. There's that rainbow bubble with Gabriel up in the clouds. But she ain't even like up in the clouds, up in the clouds. She kind of sort of like right there. Now, what's interesting is it feels like both of these angels are descending, but one of them is descending head first. Oh, look, here's Gabriel, and here's Gabriel. And then again, it's like this meeting of the minds here with these two horns touching and creating this. It's an energy of amplification. And it's interesting because it's almost like a Hierophant energy, but it's not because each participant is an individual. So there's no sacrificing of self when it comes to this meeting or these meetings. And so it just leads to like further amplification. Okay. So we're going to end this with the perceived lack or deficit slash where we need a change of perspective. And the card we have here is the Ace of Raphael. A positive new emotional experience, fulfilling romantic relationships, deep and lasting spiritual insights. The Ace of Raphael, like where we need a change of perspective, is literally like our whole view of life, our view of connection, interconnectedness, of relationships, of spirituality, of emotions, of like everything. The whole gosh darn Ace of Raphael. Like, ooh. And it's like the quickest shortcut to the quickest and easiest way to understand all of that is love, honestly. And it's a love for others while at the same time having a love for self. Because what that does is it puts us in a position to both proceed ourselves while also caring about the progression of others in a way where it's like we're not leaving ourselves behind and but we're also not leaving other people behind. It's like it's that interconnectedness. It's that harmonizing factor. Um, it's what, like, what is it? I feel like there's some, like, in string theory, there's like a unified field or something like that. And it's like that thing, or it's easiest to access that thing through the space of like love, true and unconditional love. And what happens a lot of times is our love for self or our love for others is capped by some experiences in the past or traumas or whatever, or because we haven't necessarily seen it modeled, or because it hasn't been reciprocated in the past. Whatever the reason, they are plenty. They are many. There is a plethora of reasons, right? And so it's like while we do hold love for ourselves and for others, it's hard for us sometimes to go beyond the limitation of that to really enter into, pierce, tap into that unifying principle. And for me in particular, like I've always, or at least for a long time, I've been of the mindset that like oneness is amazing and oneness is important, but like the self is also important. If self wasn't important, then it's like it wouldn't exist. Right? It's like why would God go through the great work of creating you, or why would source incarnate into your individualized fragment of itself in order for all of that to be like discarded and thrown away? And I think like that's what this like meeting of the minds, that's what these twos are about. But there's also like, when two become one, when all of the pieces and fragments, you know, become that whole again. But with oneness, I guess it's the belief that it's like it's an illusion that it's not whole now. But instead of an illusion, if we think of it more quantumly, it's that both things are simultaneously true. It is both simultaneously fragmented and unified at the same time. And for me personally, I think that that's what we kind of sort of need to do. I don't think it's about discarding our differences or what makes us unique or special and just to like blend into this homogenous whatever. Because there are a lot of things on earth that are not homogenous. There's variation and difference in almost everything, no matter how identical or how closely related. And it's like the exception of those differences and the power of the unification while still holding those differences that really sort of defines the realms of our higher potentials, in my opinion, again. But with that Ace of Raphael, I feel like that's the greatest challenge, though. Because again, it's like that requires us to almost like reframe how we look at everything. And that's why it's the whole gosh darn Ace of Cups. It's like bottomless. But that's the thing about, polarity and duality and stuff like that. Like, again, it's my own personal belief that duality doesn't stop at 5D. So like even when we reach that age of Aquarius, 5D Earth or whatever, like duality is still gonna exist. Like duality goes pretty high up the chain. And it's almost like it's necessary to have that polarization to create that space in between where creation is possible, where life is possible, right? Because it's like we can't be fully unified and have these experiences at the same time. And again, it's like this duo energy. Two 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 two. 2 and 2, 3 and 3, 1 and 1. What is this? Look, we got the 2 of Gabriel, the 2 of Swords, with the singular King of Michael. 1 sword. We got this 3 in the 12th perspective, the 3 in the Empress, and then the 10, which numerologically reduces to a 1 in this Ariel. Here's another one with Raphael. There was another one that was that Knight of Cups, which was this Ace of Raphael, I guess. And I think the Knight of Cups was the Jinn. I think. And so it's this energy, this like discontorted or this distorted energy of like when it comes to getting our wishes fulfilled, that it like costs something. And the cost of that something is that someone else isn't going to have it or that it takes away from something else. And so with Jinn energy, typically it's like that. Be careful what you wish for because you're going to get it, but it may come in a way that you prefer for it not to. And a lot of times the answer to that is to be more specific. But I don't think it's necessarily like about specificity here. Here, it seems like it's more about creation, movement, integrity, and like this exploration sort of type of factor. So anyway, I think that's everything here. Do I want to pull something on this? I want some oracle cards. I mean, since I've talked about the energy oracle cards so much, I'll just pull one of those. Let's see if one of the chakras come out. I'm kind of feeling Michael or Uriel or even Metatron, honestly. Or maybe none of those. It could be the freaking envy card. Oh gosh. Cutting to deceit. No. Why did I even say something? Okay. Let's get. Oh, look, there's Camuel. Solar plexus, Archangel. Man holding a coin. All right. What time is it? Ooh, it's almost time for me to do that thing that I do. I've been so good in this like new Virgo energy, or this part of Virgo energy at least. I felt it coming, but girl, I didn't know it was gonna be this. I feel it coming. Okay, sorry. Back to this. Like 2 to 3 cards is what I want. Oh, hostilities. Why? Financial constraints. 13 and 26. That's a 4 and an 8. Which it goes back to that like bottom of the deck is the door to personal healing and happiness, which is the 734. There's no 5 here. Here's a 1. Here's a 2. Here's a 3. There's a 3 and a 4. No 5. And then there's 6. And the fact that there isn't a 5 here means that there's no change. Or that there hasn't been change for a very long time. Oh, wait, 13 is also half of 26. what was I saying? Did I say something that like we're like operating with half capacity? It was the thing when the high priestess came out earlier with the 10 of swords, and I was like, the high priestess knows that there's more beyond the end of endings. The high priestess can at least feel beyond limitation or whatever this limitation is. But this hostile energy almost stands as this impenetrable barrier at the end of that. Kind of sort of because it was designed that way. And honestly, it feels like one of those things where it's like there are certain things that could inconvenience us or that could be used to oppress us, keep us down, keep us playing small, keep us distracted, isolated, whatever. But on the flip side of those things lie the opportunities to overcome them. And this, it almost feels like that. I guess I would dare to say it is that because of the high priestess and the 10 of wands. Because it's like it feels like there's an energy that can be kind of opportunistic. And then there's us. And however we align or don't align to that energy. Because again, King of Michael was like, principles, hold on to your integrity and stuff like that. Because once your integrity is compromised, girl, you be down for anything. And once you down for anything, it's a slippery slope. Because you got to maintain it somehow, right? Unless you just want to keep stealing fish. And at a certain point, stealing fish is going to be more work than just catching your own. Because, at a certain point, you keep eating the fish. It's like the supply of fish is going to go down at the same time. Stolen to extinction. You've reached the end of your line. Anyway, it's not about that. Or it doesn't have to be. For some people, that is going to be their experience, and it is what it is. We all make choices in life, and those choices are honored. But it feels like, again, it's just like using those lessons as teachable moments or taking the lessons as lessons instead of these like hard barrier sort of whatever. And it's like if you play a video game or anything, well, let's stick to video games, then it's like you can't progress further until you do what you need to do in this like space, right? And that goes back to that checkpoint type of energy, right? You don't move beyond that checkpoint until you clear that checkpoint. And so if there's a key conversation, a key cutscene, a key item, something that you're missing, that the thing that triggers the next part of the story is not going to happen. And this, it's like it's been this because we adapt as humans, it's what we do. And so it's like we've adapted to living in this place. And we almost forget that like there's more to the world outside of this. And so we forget to look for that item, to find that person that triggers that cutscene, that gives us that piece of information that's like our next direction. We forget about the completion and we build a home in a place where it's like not meant for us to be building homes. Now, if we build a home there, that's our choice. It's respected. Some would even say that if you build a home there, you were meant to build that home there. You can come back and not build a home there in the next life if you want to. I don't know. But this door to personal healing and happiness is what, like, it elevates us out of that. And again, like with this King of Swords, like not every bush has flowered. Like there are still some bushes that need some flowers back there. The way is not necessarily complete. There's still more to go. And so sometimes it may feel like this, oh my gosh, it's never over type of energy. But again, it's like if you think of where you are and you honestly ask yourself, like, do I want it to be over here? If your answer is yes, then hey, you're probably good and you probably have no complaints. If your answer is no, you don't not I don't want to say you should. If the answer is no, you could be grateful that you still have the opportunity to learn and grow, because it means that that's not the end. If it were over, it's like that's where you would be. But anyway, I feel like I'm getting into the point where I'm like beating a dead horse or whatever. Let's look at these cards. He's holding this sword. It doesn't really look, I don't want to say it doesn't look real, but it doesn't look very sharp, I guess. No, it's probably still pretty blunt. So it may not cut your arm off, but it may give you a concussion if he whacks you upside the head with it. But it's like that mindset of old, it's been dulled. Right. And that's what I said about this King of Michael, right? I was like, just because it's springtime now doesn't mean that his mind or his blade has been dulled. Just because he's not in that Arctic tundra and super cold doesn't mean that he's any less of who he is. Yeah, this is that Ten of Wands lost in the darkness type of energy. And I feel like this year has been an opportunity, if nothing else, for us to see maybe where potentially where we were a little more lost than we thought, or where we were a little more found than we thought, or that in between, because there's probably been some in between. I don't know. I guess the question that just popped into my mind is like, how long will we continue to fight battles that are not ours, where there is no victor, only victims? And I guess the answer is as long as we need to, or until we decide to not. I don't know. Let's get some final messages. Hopefully lighten this thing up a little bit, but we'll see. Plastic with them gold doubloons. It's based on a real treasure map, Mr. Well, they told Mr. Krabs. Well, they got Mr. Krabs into the game. Mr. Krabs noticed that it was based on a real treasure map, so Mr. Krabs took them on that adventure, and then it was like, you got us out here because of a game? And he's like, well, it said that it's like based on a real treasure map. And then they're like, oh my gosh, you whatever. Oh, the tenant area with the magician. I mentioned the magician. Hey, Mercury and Virgo. I mentioned Virgo and Leo, didn't I? I did. Because I was running away from Leo and Pisces, so I ended up on Leo and Virgo. It's fine. Anyway. Ooh, that Knight of Ariel. Knight of Pentacles energy with the Ace of Gabriel at the bottom of the deck. There's that Ace of Wands. I feel like the Ace of Gabriel is it's characteristic of the soul. And the soul is light. So the soul as light expands into the darkness and impresses upon it, it gives it instruction to create the world that we live in. And that's interesting as well. I don't know, maybe it's just me. Because in my mind, it's like, maybe it's because I'm interested in self and knowing myself. I've always been interested in knowing myself. Like personality quizzes, MBTI, girl, all of that stuff. I'm into it. But in my mind, it's like, I don't know, like at least that's what I'm going for. But the Night of Ariel, what was I talking about before that? I don't know. If I don't say it, it ain't meant to be said. Knight of Ariel is trustworthy, understanding, devoted, and funny. There is so much to accomplish. Make a very detailed plan, being watched over by someone kind. Aww. Aww, aww, aww. Oh, interesting. We see these plants here. So the horse isn't moving because there's this angel in the road. This angel in the road paired with this Knight of Pentacles energy, to me, clarifies that, like, if we're not moving, if we're not progressing, if we're somewhere and the scenery hasn't changed, there's probably a reason why. And it's almost like this angel in the road is trying to get us to see that reason, and it won't necessarily be told to us, because if it's told to us, then we don't see the importance of it in the first place, right? It's almost like this energy of like somebody shouldn't have to tell you that it's important. You should know that it's important. Because if you have to be told that it's important now, then every single time you encounter this again, you're going to have to be told that it's important. And then it becomes kind of sort of that energy of the person who constantly asks the same questions over and over. And an employer typically only hangs on to an employee like that for a certain amount of time. And it's like, it's been like 3 years that you've been working here. And having questions is fine, but you literally ask us the same question every single time you do this. And it's a key part of like your role here in this company. And then it's almost like it brings to question what it is that like you actually do or what you're actually capable of. Right? It's about actually learning. Because the time for repeating is over. Oh, storm warning. I love storm warning. That can be good. Cloudy with a chance of meatballs. Attachment. Oof. Well, that's not necessarily good. Oh, the magician in the mirror. Okay. And walking away. Wait, was it walking away from attachment or walking away from the magician in the mirror? Hostilities and walking away? Yeah, that's reaching the end. And then storm warning again. We've come full circle. So maybe that's not well, it is a good storm warning because even when it's bad, it's good. And it's the year of the blue lunar storm. I had a feeling like I would have a pretty good year this year, and I have not been incorrect. It hasn't necessarily been easy. It's been comparatively easier than a lot of people's years, probably, for sure, definitely. But I don't know. I knew I would be fine because I haven't really been in the energy of not doing stuff for a minute now. So that's why last year was last year. Okay, anyway, back to this. I'm going to keep going until a card falls out. Till we get that jump up. Oh, okay. Goodness. Bottom of the deck is Contract in reverse with the door to personal healing and happiness behind it. And Gabriel behind that. Now here's a male Gabriel. We saw a female Gabriel in the Archangel Power cards. Contract in reverse, door to personal healing and happiness, upright. Love that energy. Because it's an energy of fulfillment. Now, I gotta find the card that fell. Girl, I still haven't recovered from the Mystic Mondays. I'm gonna need y'all cards to quit like falling on the flow, please. Because we having these decks that are not complete. Oh gosh, it's fine. It's fine. If I'm meant to find those cards, I'll find it eventually. It was one of the decks that I kind of sort of had the most difficulty connecting to, I guess, in general. So, but still, ooh, the man holding a heart. Okay, with cornucopia, walking away in reverse, and hostilities in reverse. Cornucopia is 11, walking away is 9, hostilities is 8. The man holding a heart is also a 9. That's gorgeous. What was at the bottom of the deck? It was contract in reverse with the door to personal healing and happiness upright. I feel like walking away in reverse with hostilities in reverse. Oh, it's 26 and 27. 27 into 26. I'm going to turn these upright because this is an all upright deck. If the cards need to come out in reverse, they'll find a way, like you just saw. But with walking away and hostilities in reverse, that to me speaks of no longer running from the things that we need to face, which is interesting because I just talked about how in my own personal life, I had to get accustomed to not running away from things anymore and facing things. And the more things that I faced, turns out the better position I was in this year. Anyway, it's about standing to face the things, and it's about quelling hostilities, and it's about creating these middle grounds. And it's interesting because it's like when we're creating these middle grounds, it's not that we're necessarily siding with shadow side energy. It feels more like we're releasing shadow energy of the burden of teaching us lessons. Because we learn, because we grow, because we decide. But until that happens, then the villain will always be the villain. Because if the villain wasn't the villain, then the hero would never get stronger. In a sense. Right? And it's in facing that we open ourselves up enough to partake in the abundance that is around us. Where that 10 of Wands dead end gives way to the Ace of Wands, that light that was at the end of the tunnel. That which the High Priestess knows to be there. But that would defy any other means of reasoning, even spiritual in some ways. Because some walls and some towers are very, very high, and some things run deep. You can always take a perspective that's higher. Anyway, that's this energy. Interesting, interesting. So we ain't get none of the archangels, actually. I'm cool with that. Because, like I said, when I see Michael, it's like a do it. It's like Michael's like DIY, girl. Like, you don't need me to continuously do this for you. At some point, you're gonna have to learn because if you don't learn, Michael don't get to go on vacation. And Michael might want that vacation. I don't know. Michael's like, I work hard for y'all. Y'all don't do nothing. Y'all just call on me. And it's like you set it and forget it. And then you end up in the same situation. Call on him again. It's like, really? Okay, this ain't gonna work. There's that healthy dose of Leo energy with this Knight of Pentacles. Hold up, wait. Am I about to put reversals in this thing? Wait, is this? No, I think I turned these all up right last time I used this. Yeah, I did. Okay. Oh, look, there's the Ten of Wands. What's this? The Empress. Interesting. We just saw you, Queenie. Queenie. She's the mother of an Empress. Hello. Strengthen that Knight of Pentacles. Strengthen this Daughter of Wands. I guess technically the Daughter of Wands lies after the Ten of Wands, so it's us learning how to use that for the first time. It's like cavemen discovering fire. Like, oh my gosh, the world doesn't have to be this dark. It's like, yeah, not only does the world not have to be dark, but also you can cook food now. There's light, there's heat. Bottom of the deck is Judgment. The card that came out is the Daughter of Wands. So we're not starting with the Ace of Wands after the Ten of Wands. We are going to the Daughter. Here she came out again with Judgment. And it's like some folks will, some folks won't. Honestly. And all choices are honored. Right? It's like if you can't do the time, don't do the crime. It's like, girl, where were the tears when you were like doing the thing that you knew you shouldn't have been doing? Now that you got caught, now that you have to face consequences, the tears come out. Okay, well, King of Swords told you to stay integritous the first time around. Anyway, I don't know, and it doesn't necessarily feel like punishment. It's just like it's cause and effect, right? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. That was the action. There's going to be a reaction. If you wanted a different reaction, you should have taken a different action. It's like you don't do the action and then cry about the reaction. Like, now we do because, you know, we're human, and that's been a lot of our experience for a lot of people. It seems that you cry and you get out of it. Now, some people don't get out of it. Some people cry and get out of it. And so it leaves them almost infantilized in some ways. And then they have to learn later, oh, look, death in the Page of Cups. Then they have to learn later that the world don't necessarily work that way. Right? And it's probably a harder lesson for them later. Because I guess if you go a whole lifetime without hearing no, then it really shakes everything. Potentially, I don't know. Don't ask me. It hasn't been my experience. Constant yeses. Well, I've had a fairly yes experience, but also a fairly no experience. Bottom of the deck is the Ace of Pentacles, Mandragora. This is a living earth type of energy for me. And then the Two of Cups. Oh, JK, LOL. The Two of Swords, the Ghost, is what came out. Now, what's interesting, this is a real Scooby-Doo type ghost. Because if this ghost was legit, it wouldn't have needed to break those windows to get entry into this house. The ghost would have just like walked right through the house, girl. So something about this, like the living earth is organic, right? I feel like this makes sense. Something about this earth doesn't. It's like one of those, like one of these things is not like the other type of energy. Like if things were as bad as you said they were or are, then like, wouldn't it be different? It could speak of hidden motives. Also, it's this energy of like what we don't have the capability to understand in some ways. But it's almost like we don't have the capability to understand because we're too afraid to look at it for what it is. Peering behind the curtain. We're too afraid to peer behind the curtain of this ghost to see if it's a person in a costume or if it's an actual ghost. Because until we know, we can tell ourselves that it's a person in a costume and that there's nothing to be afraid of. But once you pull it off and there's nothing under, that's when it's like, doo doo doo. Everything that I knew was a lie. Now I have to understand this whole new earth that is actually alive and breathing in so many more ways than we think. And it's like alive and breathing. I'm not gonna get into it. Okay, well that's what I have. I hope everyone has a good whatever whenever you see this. If you stuck through this, if you watched even a piece of this, I hope you find something that resonates for you. If you didn't, or if you don't, that's unfortunate. And you're probably not gonna get that time back. So sorry. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. For those who believe in and act in alignment with the miraculous, the wonderful, the spectacular, it is all possible and occurring constantly every day, sometimes in ways that you can't even see or that you don't even know in the moment, but it's happening. And that's where I leave you in this 2-hour almost video. Bye.